All right, welcome in, everyone. Get ready, because today we're taking a deep dive into your March 2025 horoscope. And no, this isn't the kind of vague, good things are coming your way stuff. We're going super specific here. This is Lorenzo, the astrologer, who's known for being, well, brutally honest and usually spot on. We're talking detailed predictions just for you, Virgo, so even if you're not usually into astrology, stick with us. The level of detail here is, honestly, kind of hard to ignore.
Yeah, you're right about that. I have to admit, even for someone who doesn't live by their horoscope, it is pretty fascinating to see just how much detail Lorenzo packs into this. Like, it's not just general vibes. He really lays out specific time frames and themes, and analytically speaking, that structured approach definitely makes me curious to see how it all unfolds.
Exactly. So to break it down, Lorenzo's basically divided March into three distinct phases. We've got March 1st to the 10th, then the 11th to the 20th, and finally the 21st to the 31st. And he's given each of these periods its own unique focus.
It kind of feels like he's mapped out a journey for Virgos this month. And knowing how Virgos love a good plan, I'm sure they're already intrigued.
Oh, they definitely are. Let's dive into the first phase, March 1st to the 10th. Lorenzo calls this relationship audit time. And let me tell you, he doesn't hold back. This is where you're going to be putting those relationships under the microscope. It's about really seeing who in your life is genuinely supportive and who, well, might be taking more than they're given.
It makes sense, right? Spring is all about cleaning and clearing out the old, so why not apply that to your relationships too? We declutter our homes and wardrobes, but sometimes we forget to take stock of the people we surround ourselves with.
Absolutely. And this relationship audit is basically like that wake-up call to really assess those connections. Now, get ready, because things get even more intense as we move into the next phase. March 11th to the 20th, Lorenzo labels this period the identity check. And let me tell you, he's not mincing words here.
Just the name itself is pretty powerful, right? Identity check. Like, are you who you say you are? Are you living in alignment with your values? It really makes you think.
Exactly. He says it's the biggest reality check Virgos will face all year. It's about confronting those core values, knowing your boundaries, and figuring out if you're truly living for yourself or constantly bending over backwards for everyone else.
And that's such a crucial question for everyone, not just Virgos, right? When was the last time you genuinely put your needs first? This period could be that push to really prioritize yourself.
Absolutely. And then we hit the last stretch of March, the 21st to the 31st. Brace yourselves, because Lorenzo calls this decisions and shifts. Major decisions need to be made. Emotional changes are going to be coming at you, and you can't ignore those financial realities anymore. This is where you got to take charge, Virgo, or risk getting swept away by the current.
It's interesting how he connects this back to that identity check phase, though, isn't it? Like, if you haven't figured out who you are and what you truly want during that introspective time, how can you possibly make those big decisions with confidence?
Right, those two phases are almost like two sides of the same coin. You got to have that self-awareness to navigate those big choices. And speaking of choices, let's talk about love and relationships. Lorenzo keeps it real here, too. He calls March truth time, so buckle up for some unavoidable truths to surface.
Oof. Truth time sounds intense. Like, no more sugarcoating, no more sweeping things under the rug.
Exactly. Settling is off the table this month, Virgo. It's about being honest with yourself about what you need and deserve in those relationships.
He also mentioned something about a possible reappearance of someone from your past, like a past love, or even just a significant connection that could really shake things up. But the big question is, are they coming back to bring joy or drama?
Ooh, little mystery to keep us all on our nose. And on the career front, Lorenzo's message is all about stepping up. He says that career landscape is going to be shifting for Virgos, maybe with some unexpected opportunities popping up or maybe some unanticipated challenges. Either way, it's about taking control, owning your worth, and making bold moves.
And that ties in so well with the whole financial responsibility theme too, right? Lorenzo's pretty clear that any past recklessness with money could come back to bite you this month. So maybe it's time to finally get serious about that budget, you know?
Yeah, those impulse buys might need to wait. But it's not all doom and gloom on the money front. Lorenzo also emphasizes that this is prime time for Virgos to step up at work, maybe ask for that raise, or finally go for that promotion.
Exactly. And maybe for some Virgos, this is the push they need to finally take that leap and start that business they've been dreaming of. It's all about aligning your actions with that newfound self-awareness from the identity check.
And finally, let's not forget about your mental and physical health, Virgo. Lorenzo's got a strong message for you here, and it's all about that reset. He's basically saying you're running on fumes, you're on the verge of burnout, and you need to prioritize self-care, like yesterday.
And, it's funny because we often think of Virgos as those organized, practical people who have it all together. But even the most efficient, hardworking Virgos need to recharge. It's not a weakness. It's essential for you to actually thrive.
Absolutely. Constantly pushing yourself without taking breaks is a recipe for disaster, and Lorenzo's not afraid to call that out.
So maybe this is the month to finally book that massage, try that yoga class, or just spend an evening completely unplugged. Do whatever brings you back to center.
Exactly. So, to sum up March 2025 for you, Virgo, it's a month of reckoning, of getting real with yourself and your life.
And to everyone else listening, even if you're not a Virgo, this is a good reminder that we all need to do those check-ins with ourselves, right? Are we living in alignment with our values? Are we taking care of our well-being? Are we truly the authors of our own stories?
So much to think about. But that we do here on the deep dive, right? We go deep. And trust me, we're just getting started. We've got a lot more to unpack, including those planetary movements driving all these predictions. So stay tuned. We'll be back soon with part 2.
Okay, so we've laid out the big themes for Virgo in March 2025, but now let's dig into the nitty-gritty of the planetary alignments. This is where Lorenzo's predictions get really specific and are kind of mind-blowing.
Yeah, I'm ready for those cosmic details. Bring on the astrology deep dive.
All right, well, first off, we've got the sun in Pisces, which is going to be influencing your 7th house of partnerships. This lasts until March 20th, and Lorenzo really emphasizes that this is going to put a spotlight on all your connections, not just romantic ones. We're talking to business partnerships, close friendships, even your relationships with family members. You're going to be seeing very clearly who's truly reliable and who might not be as steadfast as you thought.
So this is like the cosmic energy behind that relationship audit we talked about.
Exactly. It's like the universe is giving you that magnifying glass to really examine those relationships and see if they're truly serving you. Then on March 20th, things shift. The sun moves into Aries, and this lands it right in your 8th house. Now, the 8th house is a pretty intense one. It deals with things like finances, power dynamics, deep emotions, even like transformation and rebirth.
Whoa, that sounds like a pretty big shift in energy, especially after that relationship-focused first part of the month.
Yeah, it definitely is. But it gets even more interesting because from March 2nd to the 27th, we've got Venus retrograde. And guess where it's retrograde? Yep, you guessed it, Aries, right there in your 8th house.
Double whammy.
Yeah, pretty much. And Lorenzo warns that this could trigger some pretty intense stuff. Think emotional conflicts in relationships, maybe some power struggles, secrets come into light, even old baggage resurfacing.
So not exactly a walk in the park then.
No, not exactly, but it's important to remember that retrograde periods are also about revisiting and reassessing. So it's not all doom and gloom. This is a chance to clear the air, work through those challenges, and come out stronger on the other side.
I can hear those Virgos out there already making to-do lists for how they're going to tackle this retrograde period.
Oh, absolutely. And then for a little breather, on March 28th, Venus goes direct and moves back into Pisces, landing back in your 7th house. So it's like you get a second chance to look at those partnerships, but this time with more clarity and hopefully with those lessons learned from the retrograde period.
So it's like a cosmic double whammy on those relationships.
Yeah, exactly. First, that intense scrutiny with Venus retrograde, and then a chance to reassess and rebuild once it goes direct.
Okay, so lots going on in the relationship department. What about other areas, like work, finances, health? Any cosmic insights there?
Oh, definitely. So alongside all that relationship trauma, we've got Pluto hanging out in Aquarius, which is impacted your 6th house. The 6th house is all about your daily routines, work-life balance, those kind of things. And Pluto here is kind of pushing you to restructure your daily life, to break free from those unhealthy patterns that aren't serving you anymore.
I can already hear some Virgos out there thinking, yeah, okay, maybe I should cut back on the caffeine and actually take a lunch break.
Yeah, that's definitely the vibe Lorenzo's putting out there. And speaking of things that need attention, we can't forget about Lilith. Lilith is making some moves this month, too. So until March 28th, Lilith is in Libra, and that's influent in your 2nd house, which is all about Money, self-worth, and basically knowing what you're worth. And Lorenzo is very clear that this is not the time to undervalue yourself, Virgo. Stand firm, know what you deserve, and don't be afraid to demand it.
It's like that identity check theme is echoing here too, right?
It totally is. It's all connected. It's like these different phases and planetary influences are building upon each other. And then from March 28th onwards, Lilith moves into Scorpio and lands in your third house. Now, the third house is all about communication, so this could bring some challenges in that area. Think misunderstandings, maybe some tricky conversations, even potential conflicts with siblings or like people in your close circle.
Okay, I'm sensing March is going to be a month of major shakeups for Virgos. So much going on.
It really is.
But let's try to break it down a bit more. What about career and money specifically? Any specific insights there?
Oh, yeah, for sure. We can't forget about Mercury Retrograde, which starts on March 15th and goes until the 30th. And guess where it's retrograde? Yep, back in Aries, right in that 8th house again.
Oh no, not that intense 8th house again.
I know, right? So Lorenzo warns that this could bring some delays or maybe some unexpected hiccups when it comes to financial matters, maybe some issues with joint assets, inheritances, or even like tax stuff.
Not exactly the time to make any risky investments then.
Probably not the best idea, according to Lorenzo. But there is some good news on the career front. Jupiter, the planet of luck and expansion, is shining brightly in Gemini, and this is influencing your 10th house of career. So this could bring some amazing opportunities, maybe even some public recognition or like a chance to really expand your life in your field.
So amidst all those challenges, there's a chance for some serious career wins.
Absolutely. But of course, there's always a catch, right? With this kind of expansion comes increased responsibility. So be prepared to step up, Virgo, and maybe even embrace some leadership roles.
Sounds like March is going to be a month of, well, a month of wearing many hats for Virgos.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And then to add a little more cosmic spice to the mix, we've got Uranus transiting Taurus, which has impacted your 9th house. The 9th house is all about your beliefs, long-term goals, and things like travel and higher education. And Uranus, well, Uranus is the planet of sudden change and unexpected events, so this transit could bring some major shakeups in your belief system. Maybe some long-held plans get completely overturned, or you find yourself embarking on some unexpected adventures.
Uranus is definitely known for keeping things interesting, that's for sure.
That's for sure. And then finally, on the mental and physical health front, we've got Mars in Cancer, which is influencing your 11th house. The 11th house is all about your social groups, friendships, and that sense of community. And Mars here, well, it can create some friction and conflicts within those groups. So this is a time to be mindful of your boundaries, protect your energy, and maybe even take a step back from any drama that's not serving you.
That self-care message is coming through loud and clear again.
It is. It's like the recurring theme for Virgo this month. Take care of yourself, set those boundaries, and prioritize your well-being no matter what chaos is going on around you.
I love that. So, wow, we've covered a lot of ground here. We've got all those planets doing their thing, all those houses getting activated.
Yeah, it's a lot to take in, but Lorenzo does a great job of breaking it all down and explaining how these specific transits are going to impact you in your relationships, career, finances, and of course, your well-being.
It's like having a cosmic roadmap for the month ahead, and I'm sure our listeners are eager to hear what Lorenzo has to say about each of those areas in more detail.
Well, good news, because that's exactly what we'll be unpacking in the final part of our deep dive. Stay tuned for part 3, where we explore Lorenzo's detailed insights for each of those crucial areas of your life.
Okay, so we're back for the final part of our deep dive into your March 2025 horoscope, Virgo. We've talked about those big planetary transits, those key dates to watch out for. And now it's time to get specific. What does Lorenzo have to say about love, career, money, and health for you this month?
All right, so let's start with love and relationships. Lorenzo's message here is pretty clear. No more lukewarm connections, Virgo. No more settling for less than you deserve. March is all about facing the truth, even if it's uncomfortable.
You're saying this could be a make-or-break time for those relationships that have been feeling a little shaky.
Yeah, that's kind of how Lorenzo sees it. You can't keep ignoring those red flags or pretending everything is fine. March is going to bring those issues to the surface. Whether you like it or not, those cracks in the foundation, well, they're about to become impossible to ignore.
What about the Virgos who are in relationships that actually feel pretty solid? Any advice for them?
Well, Lorenzo suggests it's time to go bigger, to really strengthen those bonds. But this required honesty, even if it means having some tough conversations. It's about addressing any imbalances, making sure both partners feel truly seen and heard, and being willing to put in the work.
So it's about taking those good relationships and making them even better.
Exactly. It's a time for growth, even if it gets a little messy at times.
And what about all those single Virgos out there? Is Lorenzo giving them any hope?
Oh, there's a twist for the single Virgos. Lorenzo says there's a chance someone from your past might reappear this month. He even mentions a karmic connection, someone who could really shake things up.
A blast from the past. Interesting. But is this a good thing or a bad thing?
And that's the big question, right? Is this person coming back into your life to add to it or to take away from it? It's going to require some serious discernment on your part, Virgo. Figure out if this reappearance is a blessing or a burden.
Okay, so some potential for drama in the romance department. Got it. What about career and finances? What's Lorenzo's take on that for March?
Well, his message is all about stepping up and taking ownership. He really sees March as a pivotal time in your professional life.
Are you saying this is a time for bold moves?
It could be. Lorenzo suggests some unexpected opportunities might come your way, or maybe those existing challenges will reach a critical point. Either way, you're going to need to be decisive and make things happen. Take charge, Virgo.
And what about finances? Any warnings there?
Well, Lorenzo's pretty clear about the need for financial responsibility this month. He suggests that any past recklessness with money could come back to bite you. This is the time to get serious about budgeting, saving, and making smart investments.
So maybe hold off on those impulse buys.
Exactly. He also emphasizes knowing your worth in the workplace. Don't be afraid to negotiate that raise, ask for that promotion, or even consider a career change if that's what your heart truly desires.
So basically, be smart with money and be brave in your career.
Yeah, I think that sums it up pretty well.
Right, and last but certainly not least, what about mental and physical health? What does Lorenzo say Virgos need to focus on in March?
Well, Lorenzo's message here is simple. You need a reset. He's warning that burnout is a real danger if you don't prioritize self-care.
I mean, Virgos are known for being hard workers, but even the most dedicated among us need to recharge, right?
Absolutely. Lorenzo emphasizes that constantly pushing yourself without taking breaks will just lead to exhaustion, stress, maybe even health problems down the line. He's urging you to prioritize sleep, healthy eating, and those activities that nourish your mind and body.
So bubble baths, meditations, long walks in nature, all that good stuff.
Exactly. It's not a luxury, Virgo. It's essential for you to actually function at your best. Make time for it.
Great advice. So if we were to try and sum up Lorenzo's overall message for Virgos this March, what would you say it is?
I think it comes down to embracing the truth, taking control, and choosing yourself. March is a month of reckoning, for sure. You'll be confronted with some big decisions and some unavoidable reality, but it's also a month of tremendous potential. By facing those challenges head on, prioritizing your well-being, and making choices that are truly in alignment with your values, you can emerge from March stronger and wiser. You'll feel empowered.
That's a powerful message, and honestly, I think it's something everyone can relate to, regardless of their zodiac sign.
I agree. It's a good reminder that we all have the power to create our own destiny, right? And even if you don't believe in astrology, understanding your tendencies, recognizing your strengths, and being aware of those potential pitfalls can help you navigate life with more intention.
So well said. And on that note, I want to thank everyone for joining us on this astrological journey. I think this has been an incredibly insightful deep dive, even for someone like me who's not a Virgo.
It has been fascinating to see how these planetary influences can intersect with our lives and kind of prompt us to reflect on our choices and those paths we're on.
And for all of you Virgos listening, remember, March is a month of powerful transformation. Embrace the challenges, prioritize your well-being, and make choices that honor your authentic self.
And to everyone listening, remember that while the stars might offer some guidance, ultimately, you're the one holding the compass.
That's a beautiful thought to end on. Thanks for joining us, everyone. Until next time, keep